A classified UFO hearing on Capitol Hill deemed David Grusch's claims, many of them, have merit. This is actually quite historic, y'all. We're going to dive into this and get all the details. I got a lot of clips, some stuff from Twitter. But basically, lawmakers had a meeting to discuss David Grusch's claims, and his testimony was put on by Thomas Monheim. I think that's how you say it. And he presented basically David Grusch's investigation. And although they didn't get to all of it, what they were able to discuss, it, quote, moved the needle, right? And a lot of people were surprised. And again, leaving people to say, Tim Burchett saying, like, David Grusch is legit, man. Everyone walked out of there saying, David Grusch is legit. Again, many of his claims have been deemed, to have merit. And that's quite significant considering many of his claims are all about UFOs. Most of them are, right? So I got to be honest, for me, this is quite historic and quite, this is a move in the right direction as far as for disclosure and finding out what's going on with David Grusch and his claims. So I'm telling y'all, this is quite fascinating. So let's dive in and see what this is all about. If you're new to the channel, and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, y'all. We put out a new video every day, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do not miss a day. And of course, hit that like button, y'all. That really helps us out with the videos. Thank y'all so much. And if you can, comment down below of what you think of this. This is quite exciting, if you ask me. I know some people are a little, well, which claims? Let's be real. 99% of his claims are about UFOs and aliens and biologics. Yes, there are some other details, but I think this is quite significant, if you ask me. At least to investigate further, right? There's something there. So let's dive in and take a look, y'all. So this is from Jared Moskowitz. All right. So he is one of the lawmakers who was in this meeting. And based on what we heard, many of Grusch's claims have merit. All right. So he's responding to this tweet from Askapol. Shout out to them. Great reporting. This is the first real briefing we've had, Jared Moskowitz says, adding, it's the first time the IG let members know where they land on the merits of Grusch's claims. All they learned inside from Intelligence Inspector General is classified. And he says the info actually moved the needle, right? Because if you remember, the last time they had something like this, it did not go well. People were very disappointed. But this time they're like, okay, honestly, people were kind of shocked. I got to be honest. I'm shocked. Curious what everyone else is going to say. And look, this is some of the other stuff that was said, right? And we're going to watch video. Anna Paulina, representative, opining about the differences between extraterrestrial and interdimensional. There's a clip about that. It's very interesting. And that Grusch never said ET. Feels new. Also, there is a movement to prevent us from finding out more information on this. So there's pushback, right? Exactly what Grusch has been stating. Sounds like a cover-up, this person says. Grothman, who is this from? This is from Lester Nair, by the way. Grothman effectively said it's a cover-up. The real people who know are being hidden from Congress. Tim Burchett basically saying the same thing, confirming they are contemplating who they need to bring to future public hearings. More on that later in the video. Also, he said everyone who left there left knowing Grusch is legit. That's right. That's Burchett. But also, Representative Burchett is not detail-oriented, and his team can't write legislation to save their lives. We cannot let him spearhead policy creation moving forward. Wow, shots fired there. I don't know. What do y'all think about Burchett? Should he still be involved with what's going on? I say yes. I don't always agree with him politically, but in this topic, he is a fighter. He's got passion for it. So we need that. Same goes for the comment from Jared Moskowitz. This verified a lot of the claims made about UAPs. Y'all, there are so many like mind-blowing quotes from this. I didn't know what to put on the thumbnail, the title. I didn't even know what to use. Like, it's crazy. Guys, we're getting closer. This is a step forward with no step back. That's my opinion, right? You know, that we say that, right? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I feel like we took a couple steps forward with no step back. So, look, let's get to the first video here. This is on News Nation. And honestly, this video, I'm playing this one first because this one really encompasses the entire hearing to me in a nutshell. Like, if this is all you watch, this is enough. Again, I'll put links to all of this so you can check it all out. We still have a lot more to go. So let's do this.
So secretive. Why? Why so secretive this time when it was public in July?
It was secretive, Ashley, because this was the chance that these lawmakers who have been investigating what's really going on with the UFOs were able to get in with the Inspector General of the intelligence community and talk with him about what he has been able to uncover when it comes to all of these things we've been talking about, especially David Grusch, the UFO whistleblower that we first broke here on News Nation. So it was a big moment.
Right. So he's saying that, real quick, I just want to clarify that so that people understand about this, that they were there so that the Inspector General, right, could tell them, of the intelligence community, by the way, could tell them about his separate investigation of, right, his independent investigation of David Grusch's claims. So this isn't just David Grusch's claims. This is this, right? That's what's so big about it. That's this other guy's in independent investigation telling them, hey, there is something here, right? Like, that's what it is. So it's not just David Grusch's claim. That is a key point, I think, is kind of getting missed everywhere. And that is key, in my opinion.
With this story.
Tell me what you think down in the comments. Am I right? I don't know. I think so.
That we've been covering for the last year or so, because they were able to get in there and ask the man who's been investigating the claims himself in a secret setting what he has actually found out.
So what were the lawmakers' reactions?
This was really interesting, Ashley, because they went in not really knowing what to expect. And when they came out, you know, they could have just come out and said, yeah, we heard some things. Like the other times they've gone into these meetings, they said, we didn't learn anything. It was a bunch of BS. They wouldn't tell us anything. They came out today basically saying, we moved the needle. We learned something. We're not allowed to tell you what it is, but we are confident in David Grusch and what he has said. Translation, they heard something that backs up the UFO whistleblower's claims. Listen to what some of these lawmakers said. We got them right when they walked out.
I think that it's reasonable to say that everyone that was in the room received probably new information. I certainly did.
This meeting, unlike the one we had previously when we did this briefing, this one actually moved the needle.
It's giving me a more clear perspective, a little bit more of a clear perspective. Before, it's very blurry. Everything is extremely blurry.
So it's hard to make out what they mean here because they're not allowed to talk about it. And I'm obviously not a believer or a skeptic, just a journalist coming at this like every other story we cover. But Ashley, the fact that they came out of that meeting and said those things, that things seemed a little clearer, that the needle was moved, they learned something in that meeting today, very, very significant when it comes to the investigation of UFOs and what the government knows.
That's great for them, but we're the public, and I'm going to speak for like all the viewers right now and the rest of the public that might not be watching. We're not satisfied with that, right? We're never going to.
Sorry, let me interrupt her. She's allowed to have her opinion, but she is not speaking for all the public and the viewers. She's speaking for herself. I'm sure there's some people that agree with her, but this clearly moves the needle. I just don't know what we're talking about. Right? Let's say just whatever. Let's say just to quantify Grusch's claims as a number. Let's just say there's, right, 100% of his claims, right? They're saying many of his claims, so it's got to be at least in the 60, 70 percentile, right, of his claims, of the things he said. That's quite significant because if you look at what the substance of David Grusch's claims, right, let's be real. I'm just saying this is significant for anybody. If you just look forest through the trees here, whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's something going on, right? Whether these programs or whatever, there's something going on. And that is, I don't know. It's honestly, it's a little scary as well, right? Let's be real. It's also kind of a little terrifying, but at least helps back up Grusch a little bit. And I don't know. But let's hear what she has to say. Let's be fair here.
Satisfied until we get full transparency and the truth, and we start to hear if there's something weird that's going on. If the Pentagon has a program that has weird, unexplainable things that they're dissecting, or maybe that they're co-opting to use to our benefit. Like, that's what some of the folks have said, right? They've said reverse engineering might be going on with something that's been collected that's not understandable. But what about the lawmakers? How satisfied were they?
Look, I think it's clear that there's something going on at this point. I mean, I think we can report that confidently, whether it's UFOs or we don't know what it is, but there's something going on. I mean, they went into the skiff.
Correct.
90
Exactly.
minutes, actually, they're in there, lawmakers coming in and out on both sides of the aisle, coming out saying that things are a little more clear now and they've got more confidence in the UFO whistleblower. And then they had some other details, too. They didn't want to go too far, but they did say a little bit more about what they learned. Take a listen.
I believe that he's telling the truth. I think that he is a credible witness. And what I can also say is one thing in particular that really caused me to be concerned about this whole thing is that Grusch had stated to myself, Representative Burchett, and another member on the phone that there were people that were hurt hiding this information and keeping this information safe and or trying to come forward with this information. What I can tell you is I believe that claim after now leaving.
I'm more concerned than I was going into the skiff, and I think that they have a lot of questions that remain unanswered.
I mean, when you really listen to what they're saying, Ashley, Representative Luna there from Florida saying that she believes the claim more now that people have been hurt for hiding, for having this kind of information involving UFOs. She said that right when she came out of this meeting. It's really kind of explosive when you think about it. And it is frustrating that we don't get to know what's going on here, which is one of the reasons these lawmakers claim that they're going to try to have some kind of public hearing in the near future.
Something real quick. You don't see a lot of the main media covering this. I mean, what are we talking about? It's just crazy. I get there's a lot going on, but, you know, it just, yeah.
It's listen, it was the one thing today that stood out to me the most when Representative Luna said some people have been hurt trying to keep the secret or trying to release it. It made me think of the next guest that's coming up, Jeremy Corbell, because somebody released it to him. Someone released the jellyfish video to him, and it's video that, you know, Marines have seen before, as you were able to break last night on the show, Anton. So that the thing that is also fascinating to me is that there's frustration as well as curiosity, it seems, among these lawmakers, because Tim Burchett, the representative from Tennessee, he was, it seemed, annoyed by the tens of millions of dollars that we've spent on programs that we're being told don't exist.
Yeah, there is a budget out there where they don't know where the money's going, a defense budget, Ashley. And this is what I kept thinking about today. So these are the lawmakers who have been pushing this UFO thing, who have been talking about it, having the hearings. They had David Grusch do the hearing. They went in finally and met with essentially the government to find out what's going on. They could have come out, Ashley, and said, okay, thank you so much, everybody. We'll get back to you. We did talk to them, and we'll see, you know, if they were kind of underwhelmed. But instead, they came out and said, we've learned more. We're more interested than ever. We want to have public hearings. This is pushing the needle forward. To me, that was really kind of the most significant part of all of this.
Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all. So look, this next video is of Tim Burchett. Just kind of like, you know, loose in front of, you know, Capitol Hill here, just out and about after the hearing. Yeah, quite fascinating. Again, I think Burchett should be a part of this. Again, I don't agree with him politically on everything, and I don't agree with everybody on anything politically on anything at all. So whatever, just what are they providing for this topic? So I do support him being a part of it. But anyway, let's hear from him. And it's quite interesting. I don't know, you know, I'm curious to read the comments, like what y'all think of this. Like, is this historic? Are we overthinking this? Is this moving the needle? I mean, that's what they're saying, right? I mean, I don't know how this isn't more explosive and like out there and being covered more by the main media. Like, I'm honestly baffled by it. Like at this point, come on, there's something going on. You don't have to say report UFOs and aliens and whatever, but clearly something is going on here, right? And this is pretty much confirmation that there is something going on. So that is, we're closer to the truth, right? And when they say most of his claims are valid, and then you say, well, what are the claims? And you look at what the claims are of David Grusch. Wow. I mean, this does sort of crystallize a little bit better, and it does clear up the vision a little bit. And for anyone having doubts, like it's the getting closer to this truth that maybe we're not alone, man, we're going to have to really start looking at, at ourselves and really wondering about that. There'll be a celebration of, okay, we're not alone. And then a realization of, oh, we're not alone, right? Like, oh man, this is a lot to take in, y'all. All right, let's hear it. Tim Burchett.
So you just came from the briefing. Were you satisfied at what you heard? I know you.
No, my biggest thing all along, it's obviously a lot of folks want to. It's little green men, it's flying saucers.
Right.
My concern is the tens of millions, if not billions, of dollars that we've invested in the research of this issue since 1947 that we know of, and yet the federal government keeps telling Congress they don't exist. And yet, obviously, they're investigating something.
So you think?
And then when I have an admiral tell me they're real, when I have some of the top pilots in the world say they're real, I don't see why American taxpayers can't get that information.
So you think there have been billions potentially in government money that's been spent on developing something, or?
Well, I'd like to know that. Are they developing something, or have they recovered something that has allowed them to spend this much money?
When you come out of that briefing, what questions do you have?
I end up with more questions.
Every time, or just?
Yeah, always, because I always say it's like looking down the barrel of a .22 rifle. They are very specific in what they know, and it is very compartmentalized. It's like Oak Ridge National Laboratory, which I don't represent, but over 6,000 folks that work there living in the 2nd Congressional District that I represent.
Pretty sure that's where Sean Kirkpatrick went to work. Am I wrong or right about that? Why does that sound familiar?
And they, during the Second World War, over 2,000 people were working on the bomb, and less than a half a dozen knew what they were working on because it was so compartmentalized. I mean, husbands and wives did not know. Brothers and sisters who worked at the lab did not know because of that compartmentalization. And that's carried over into this. So say it was a recovered craft in 1947 at Roswell, New Mexico. Every person that was involved in that is dead now. And it's been passed on and passed on and passed on. And now with these private contractors who you and the press and we as Congress cannot access because they're not under FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, because they have passed it on to a private contractor. And is that by design? I don't know. But I still think we need to ask some questions and we need to know some answers. Dadgummit, it's just going on too long. And there's no excuse for not giving us other than arrogance.
I hear you on asking questions, and that's part of your job, obviously. But I'm wondering beyond that, what comes next in your view?
Well, that's a great question. And I'm going to be working with the chairman. And since I'm not chairman of this so-called subcommittee, it is a subcommittee, I'm going to be working with them to get us an excellent list of witnesses for this next hearing. And I'm not going to release them because the last time I did that, the folks were literally told not to come.
By who?
We were told by NASA, a quasi branch of NASA, other groups. They claimed they didn't do it, but the folks told me they did. And we'd asked over a dozen folks, that's 12. And we ended up with 3 excellent witnesses that put their love of this country over the love of themselves. Because obviously Grusch was ridiculed. He was outed as somebody that had PTSD. And in East Tennessee, we don't make fun of people because they served their country and suffered from it. We celebrate those people and we try to get them and support them. But in Washington, D.C., they destroy those people. And that just shows the ruthless nature, and that shows that we are over the target, that we have, as I was told, I have kicked a hornet's nest at the Pentagon.
I know you got a flight to catch, so we'll leave it there.
Sorry,
Thank
buddy.
you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Thank you for.
Love Tim Burchett slap there, like, from the sky. Wah-bam! I tell you, give a handshake, y'all. Yeah, what do y'all think? Crazy. Like, let's be real. It's moving. It's moving the stuff. Look, this is also about the hearing. Again, there's a lot of clips. So, again, this is the last one. There's a few more kind of short ones from Twitter, but I thought this was interesting. Ryan Graves, Chris Cuomo, Tim Burchett, and his dog, Roscoe. And, they're going to talk here about the hearing. Let's jump in.
Talk about the politics first. Congressman, were you satisfied that the needle was moved today on the recognition of the people involved here, including the Inspector General, that there's more to tell and there is an obligation for more to be told?
As you know, I have to be very careful what was talked about in the skiff, but I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 4. I'd say the needle moved. It was bipartisan. My dear friend Jared Moskowitz, AOC was in there, Luna, the whole gang. We had one time we had 16 congressmen in there, and these were people that normally you wouldn't see. And the reason they're involved is because people like your other guest, who I'd really like to hear from him tonight more than me, they have continuously pushed this issue and gave it validity. Because somebody like me, the 435th most powerful member of Congress, that ain't moving the needle. But your other guest.
Wait, what does this say? Intel watchdog who briefed Congress today interviewed current members of government UFO program. Wow. What? So the Inspector General, that's what moved the needle, y'all. That's what's like so crazy, is that they're hearing from these programs and like, oh, they do exist. Okay. So they can't talk about the specifics of what was said, but just that. And the basis of 1 to 10 on did it move the needle, a 4, that's a lot. On this subject, on this topic, a 4 is kidding me? That's huge. I mean, 10 is absolute full reality disclosure, right? So like, that's huge. Yeah. Anyway, that's quite a chyron right here. What do y'all think of that?
He moves the needle.
And I want to talk to him because he also has a public service announcement about why this matters for everybody who wants to fly around.
Anyway, I'm going to put links to all of this stuff for that full clip there. I just wanted you all to hear from Tim Burchett saying that. And Ryan Graves, he basically talks about the Safe Aerospace Whatever Act. There's just so much to talk about, y'all. But again, I'll put links to all this so you can watch it. Here's Tim Burchett, kind of a little more raw here, okay, after the meeting.
No, heck no. This is just more the same.
Sorry. Okay, here we go.
More frustration. You put these guys and gals in a tough position. It's very compartmentalized, as we said. It's like looking down the barrel of a .22 rifle, and all they know is just right in that little circle. And but no, it didn't disqualify anything I've thought in the past.
What comes out of this meeting? What do you do in response to this stonewalling?
Well, it's just whack-a-mole. You go to the next one until we get some answers. We got some pretty definitive stuff that I'm sure y'all get from somewhere else about what was discussed, and to me it was it made what I think more credible.
So they did tell you something. They didn't tell you nothing.
That's correct.
Okay. Because you came out, you said we didn't learn anything new.
Well, we didn't learn anything new. It just verified what I thought.
Does that move the needle for you at all?
No, I think they're covering this thing up. That doesn't.
And then see here, he says it doesn't move the needle for him, right? It's interesting. I think he just doesn't know what to say here. Because again, this is fresh right after the hearing. with Burchett. And he's doing a lot of different interviews, and I get it. It's just raw emotion. You're reacting. You're just, saying things. So I think if you kind of average it all out together, and you know what I mean? And again, that reporter that asked, well, you didn't say, you said you didn't learn anything new, but so you did learn something, right? And he's like trying to think how to like say that, right? Because again, these are classified, y'all. They can't really reveal what's said in them. They might even get in trouble just for saying what they said, right? Because who's going to want to give them a classified briefing if they know they're going to walk out the door and be in front of 20 reporters to just blurt it all out, right? So they have to be careful. But, he's basically saying, like, we had ideas about what's going on. We go in here, they sort of confirm those, right? Not that you learned anything. What the new you learned is that what you thought is what you thought. And that is new in and of itself, right? And I think that's what Burchett was just trying to understand. Oh, yeah, that is something new. And it's not like I learned new information, but the information that I had that got validated, that then is a new concept, right? In that sense. So anyway, yeah.
And these guys pretty much verified that. They, as I stated, I mean, it's not their attempt to do it, but by design, this issue is very compartmentalized.
So what does the investigation look like going forward? Is it more hearings?
I think so, but it's got me focused on who we need to be bringing into the hearing. As I've stated, it's not about little green men and flying saucers. The issue is tens of millions of dollars on an issue that we've been told does not exist since 1947, yet they're spending that money on researching something.
So who would you prefer to bring in?
Well, last time I did that, our selection dwindled, so I'm going to keep that pretty close to the cuff because they ended up getting told not to come. Good?
We're good.
Thank you.
So, right, that's interesting. Yeah, that's, look, if you hear him saying it's not about little green men, it's like, don't be offended by that. He's follow the money, okay? They're researching something, right? Like, follow the money. It's always about follow the money. It just is, right? So let them go after it, right? It's like a hunting dog, okay, that you take with you hunting. That dog doesn't understand the entire concept of what you're doing out there, what your mission is. All he knows is, I got a scent and I'm going after it, and I will get you there, and then you're leading the way, right? So in a sense, let Burchett be this hunting dog. Give him the scent of the money, let him go. He finds it, there it is, the craft and whatever, right? Like, we don't need people to believe that to have them support this, topic, right? Or investigation, right? Following the money. Clearly the government is misspending, researching something. I think that's what they all learned in there. There are some secret programs, and they're doing something, and they've spent a lot of money on this for a lot of time. We can't say it's aliens or UFOs yet, but something. And that's crazy, y'all. That is crazy. Okay, again, this is a step forward if you ask me, man. Woo, this is going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot to take in. I can't wait to read the comments, y'all. I'll be honest. All right, let's hear from this guy. Just to be fair, this is another representative that was there, and this response is interesting. Let's talk about it.
Was that asked about the non-human biologics and the alleged alien spacecraft?
So he's saying, were you asked about the non-biologics, and alien spacecraft?
Get into the specifics of the hearing, but let's just say that all of us were very interested in the substance of his claims, and unfortunately, I didn't get the answers that I was hoping for. I got it.
He's saying, I didn't get the answers I was hoping for. That's okay. We don't know what his individual answers that he wanted and what he thought about David Grusch's claims, right? So just to be fair, but that's one person, right? Representative Raja Krishnan Moririthi. Gosh, I hope I got that right. My apologies. All right, here's Jared Moskowitz. Let's listen to this real quick.
Did you hear anything that that you didn't know? Are you being frustrated by this, like some of your colleagues are?
Well, obviously, look, the process is extremely frustrating, but actually this is the first real briefing that we've had that we've now made, I would say, progress on some of the claims Mr. Grusch has made in his complaint and some of the claims he provided to Congress. This is the first time we kind of got a ruling on what the IG thinks of those claims. And so, so this meeting, unlike the one we had previously when we did this briefing, this one actually moved the needle.
Very good. So that'll lead to more public hearings?
I think this one's going to lead to a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of new questions and a lot of new areas to ask and poke in based on what we got in this meeting.
Can you give us a sense of what new questions you have?
Well, right. So let me just give you a hypothetical, because I'm not going to share anything from a classified briefing. But if someone makes 10 claims and then someone says, well, we didn't look into all 10 because they weren't all in the report, but hey, we found these 6 very credible based on it, well, then you would want to go attack those 6. That's what I'm saying. All right, thank you.
Telling y'all, this is crazy. Either way, we're getting closer to the truth, y'all. And I hope this video was able to encompass a lot of different viewpoints and different stuff, because you're going to hear a lot about this. But I think the overall average, because I absorbed even a lot more than this, y'all, that I didn't share. There's just so many clips, it was impossible. I mean, it would have been impossible for y'all to take it all in. And you might be on your own, right? But let's be real. Overall, I think the quote of "this moved the needle" is the most accurate. This definitely moved the needle in a good way towards the truth. And that's all we can ask for. So, man, we normally don't get a lot of good news like this in that sense, right? Something to be hopeful for when it comes to government transparency. So, and again, let me reiterate that this was literally about, the Inspector General in his investigation verifying Grusch's claims to them and saying, yeah, okay, here's like a 3-party system. So you got David Grusch's claims, right here in the middle, right? You got the people at the briefing over here, and you got, the people leading the briefing, right? And they're saying, we did an independent investigation of this up here, of David Grusch's claims, and we're telling you that these are valid. This is real, right? And these people over here each of them came in with sort of their own understanding of what's going on. So it either verified for them things they knew or suspected, right? Or whatever, and that's on a spectrum, each of them, and what they know, right? And the conversations they've had or whatever, and the hearing and the public hearing, right? The information's out there public. But when they got in the meeting, in this briefing, they're able to get, okay, here's the information that we're trying to verify. These people are saying this is what is verifiable. And most of them walking out of there thinking, okay, wow, what? Right? I'm just saying, that's regardless if you think it's aliens or not, okay, whatever you think, let's be real. Something's going on, and it's not good. They're hiding something. They're misspending money on something. Could it be our own advanced tech? Sure. Could it be aliens? Yes. They're doing something. Something is. It's not just a psyop. This idea that it's a psyop entirely and there's nothing going on is BS. That is what is confirmed, in my opinion, by this. All right. And you may say, well, I already knew that. Okay, fine. But for the rest of us that didn't know, to me, this is real confirmation of it, right? You could think one thing and know another, but there's pretty much confirmation of that. This is not a psyop. Something is going on. We can see the fire. We just can't tell what's on fire, right? Now we can see the fire. Remember, if there's smoke, there's fire. Like there's a lot of smoke. Well, we can finally see the tip of the fire, in my opinion. But now, what is on fire, right? Because we do have to leave open the small possibility that it is our own advanced tech. Is whatever probability you give it, whether it be 0.5% or 100%, it's in there somewhere. You should have to leave that open, in my opinion, just for critical thinking's sake. So But again, whatever it is, regardless, at a minimum, in my opinion, we're seeing the tip of this fire here and knowing, oh shit, there is a fire. That is a fire. But what is on fire? And that's huge, y'all. So last thing I'm going to leave it on here, which is exciting to me, is this from Anna Paulina Luna. Again, whatever you think about her politically, that's not what this show's about. I don't care about the politics of her and this and that. That's not where I'm at. So you do whatever you want. But that's what she says. And she does a lot for the UAP topic, okay? And now she's like really committed. Now knowing that this is like, okay. Something's going on. And watch how many more politicians you're going to see get involved once they realize it's real. I'm telling you. So here we go. She says, I feel confident that we have enough evidence to move forward with our first field hearing. We will be announcing details soon because that's what's going to happen, y'all. There's going to be witnesses. Now, we're not going to know who they are. And we shouldn't be pressing to know because, again, they could be then something could happen to them, right? They could be forced to not testify, pressured to not testify. So we need to not be asking, what are the witnesses? Who are the witnesses? This is that. Let's leave it alone. Let them keep it a secret. That is one secret I'm okay with. Now, whether or not those people are going to be credible or not, it is moot. We'll figure that out later. Let them get in front and talk and hear from them, and then you can decide that based on what they provide, evidence, proof, their story, what testimony, whatever, their background, their credibility. Okay, but we should protect that list of people coming out regardless because we do want to hear. We want them to hear from as many people as possible in this, witnesses. So, yeah, man, wow. Oof. Gosh, y'all. This is exciting. See, 2024, y'all. Sorry for the long video. There was just a lot to cover on this. See, there's no way I could have done the David Grusch Wall Street presentation video in this as well. So that'll be tomorrow's video. We'll pick up on the jellyfish on Monday. Hopefully no other breaking news happens that I got to push that back. So, yeah. Phenomenal, y'all. Can't wait to read the comments. Again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, y'all. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be talking about David Grusch and his claims of a UFO 40 feet in diameter, but when you walk inside, it's the size of a football field, y'all. I'm telling you. Is he giving this meeting and this presentation to prepare people? Right? People in power, prepare them for what's to come. Disclosure. It's quite interesting, quite fascinating. So we'll take a look at that tomorrow. Can't wait to read the comments on this video. All right, y'all. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, every day is a gift. Peace, vetters.